Welcome back to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience podcast right now. This is your host, Chris. With me online, I have a very special guest. I have Kadeem France of Loathe. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yo, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just chilling. Trying to use this lockdown as productive as possible, you know. Just keeping my head down and stuff, staying creative. But yeah, man, all good, all good.
Yeah, dude. I feel like every time I talk to a band during quarantine right now, every band's like writing new material, getting creative, just keeping busy. You know, the way to be.
Yeah.
And we also got Jesse on the show, too. So, Jesse.
What up? How's it going? I've been doing the same. I've been lying to myself, though. I'm like, it's time to get that six-pack. And then I just eat somehow more Five Guys. And I'm like, how do I just order more? You know, it's crazy. It's insane. So, yeah, pretty good.
So, dude, like I ask everyone on my show, where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Liverpool in the United Kingdom, home of the Beatles and home of Liverpool Football Club.
Dude, I feel like everyone I keep talking to is from the UK lately. I talked to Sydney Fate. They're from Wales. I just talked to Bleed From Within. I think, where were they actually calling from, though? Where was that calling from?
I think they're from Scotland.
Yeah, but he called from London, but they're from Scotland.
Yeah, so, because that threw me off a little bit. I was like, what? But yeah, it's fun. I keep talking to everyone from the UK. I'm going to hit every band from that location.
It's awesome. Until the internet connection craps out, then we're going to give up. As far as we can.
Well, actually, right now, it's getting a little rough on my end. It's getting a little blurry, pixelated.
Really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. At least the audio is fine, but yeah, we'll just run with it. It'll probably fix itself.
No, you're good. You're good on my side. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll roll with it.
It's been going good. Yeah, man. Just literally been spending loads of time with family and stuff. I just recently got back into skateboarding. I haven't done that since I was like 17, 18. Obviously, with the times of what's going on, I've had nothing else to do, so I was just been like, fuck it, let's go skate.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that's it. Literally, like, nothing new, really. Same old. I feel like everything's on pause, especially with like just releasing an album, and then obviously this shit happens. It's like,
well, that's the main reason we had you on the show too, because we heard I Let It In and it took everything. I remember because my friend was like, "Hey, do you want some new music?" I was like, "Sure, show me what you got." And he showed me this album, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And then I knew my boy Jesse over here who would love it too, so I sent it to him. Yeah. And dude, it's funny. Every time I send Jesse music, he either like goes like, "Yeah, it's all right," or he just relentlessly like shit on it as like a bit, you know. But this, he actually was like, "Wow, dude, you actually sent me something good."
Oh wow!
Oh yeah. Well, my philosophy on music is I'm not in the place to insult it. If I don't like it, it's just not. It's not for me. But if my friend shows me music, even if it's a band I like, I will relentlessly hound him. Like, dude,
yeah, I feel you.
I'll never. But like, yeah, I just went in. I go into my dungeon and I just listen. And I'm like, yeah, you guys are the truth. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I even bought a vinyl. I don't have a record player. I was like, I got to buy the.
Shit.
I was like. And that's the pandemic. I was like, oh, is that going to get here? Is that coming? Whatever. We'll see. It arrived, though. We got it.
Oh, it arrived. Good. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, no. And it's just like, it's such an interesting thing because I didn't realize until we got the interview. I never looked at you guys' like Wikipedia or anything. So I thought you just had the most like chameleon voice of all time. I didn't know everyone.
Chameleon voice?
Yeah. I was listening to it. I was just laying in my bed. It was just hot. I didn't put my air conditioner in, so I've just been sweating. And I put you guys on in the background. I'm just like, how many screams and singing voices can one man do? And I finally looked. I saw it's like everyone has unclean like credits. I'm like, okay, that makes way more sense. I was like, thank God.
Yeah. Everyone does vocals. I'd be fucked if I was doing all of that. Like, bro, I'm swearing so much. By the way, apologies.
It's all right. That's why the podcast. We have more fun. We don't have to hold ourselves back. No, okay. But but how do you decide who like is it like whose voice or scream fits the part better, or is it just like who wrote everyone write their own parts, or do you guys just decide?
Sometimes it'll be like we'll get like a vocal rhythm down. I'll do the vocal rhythm, and then it'll be like, oh, I can't really imagine myself doing that live, and then Eric will be like, yo, what if I just did that line, and then we did a back and forth type thing. And that's how it always really comes around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because every time we see Mastodon live, it's just somehow every guy in the band, even if like technically their voices aren't like good by like vocal standards. It's like they're all amazing, screaming,
Yeah.
all of them got it. You just sit there, you're like, what the hell? Like, it's like I always wondered how they decide that. And then the same with your band.
Well, that's something that like we've went even more into. Like even with I Let It In, It Took Everything. Like singing wise, near enough everyone in the band sings, whether it just be like little harmonies or like a line here or there. Like for example, in Screaming, a lot of the harmonies in that song are Faisal, our bassist, and then Shauna's our drummer. And like they've never really ever done vocals like that before, so it was just kind of it's really an exciting thing to experiment on, like working together, doing new vocal styles and stuff.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, that always scares me. I'm just like, wow, man. It's just like every band just somehow gets banger singers, and I'm like, is it just confidence? It's like dancing when someone just like kind of freaks out. I'm like, why does it look so cool? But I feel if I did that, I would just get pelted with fruit or something just out of nowhere. I'd be like, cut it out.
No, I guess it's like the vibe of the people that you're with, and like if you're all in a room together and there's like no judgment, you're all just in that kind of creative mode, and like you kind of you're with your close friends who you trust, so you're keen to try and do whatever you want, and you know people are not going to make fun of, or you know what I mean. If you sing a bum note or whatever, it's all love, and we're all just creating, trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's what you hope with a band. But there's always someone like me. There's always someone like I had a group of people I was jamming with, and I feel like I was just like, oh, can I try it? I'm like, someone's gonna yell something. Like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, not what? Like, just go into your shell. You're like, I'll just stick to drums. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to try something new.
So how did you get to like get your voice? Like, what kind of like influenced you to get your style?
The way I scream, I used to listen to a lot of bands, like obviously like Architects, Beneath Horizon.
Solid band.
I used to listen to a lot of deathcore in my early days, like Chelsea Grin, Oceano, Die Arthur's Murder. I'm trying to think of other bands. There used to be this band from Australia called The Ailment, and their vocalist, his vocals like really big inspiration on me at the time. Also another band called Silence from Florida. They're not I don't think they're a band anymore, but they're good. The old vocalist Hunter, he's actually writing some really cool stuff at the moment that he's shown me, which is sick. But he was a really big influence on me in the early days as well. But then on the singing side, I'd say more like R&B and stuff like that, like even people like Usher, like fucking D'Angelo, Erykah Badu.
Nice.
All of that type of like old school R&B like vibes and stuff, like that's what I listened to from like a very early young age and stuff.
Oh, nice. So you're basically very like diverse with your music style. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, thanks.
You have songs like Screaming, which are like, it's not really screaming, which is pretty great. It's like very melodic, kind of has that like Deftones vibe and all that. And then you have some like crazy songs, like the one Jesse did the reaction for. Shout out to Jesse Insid Streams right there. Like songs like that are just crazy heavy. And I was like, I love the dynamic range of this album and of the band right there. And you guys did 14 tracks too. That was a lot. I know you have some like a minute and a half kind of tracks on there, but it all works very well. Were there any like B-sides or like songs that didn't make the cut?
There's a lot. There's a lot of songs that didn't make it. It's just kind of like just long lost Dropbox files that are just kind of waiting to be used again. And like that's not to say that stuff will never see the light of day. It just wasn't fitting already for the vibe of that album, you know what I mean? Like that's the kind of thing we do a lot, is like we write a lot of music and then kind of sit on it for a while because we're just pondering on what is the right vibe, like what is the message we're trying to put across with this album and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that you'll probably be seeing on whatever it is we release next that we'll probably just work on and make more in tune to like what we're going towards, if that makes sense.
Well, I have another idea too. I can give you my Dropbox account and you can just drop it right there. Send it my way. We'll be fine with that. But
we don't let people steal our stuff, so it will be safe in our vault, our digital vault.
Exactly. But that's
I'll just mention it to people like songs, and they'll be like, "What song?" I'm like, "Never mind. No, you didn't get it."
It's always awesome that bands have like that vault. They always talk about the drive, the extra drive. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to like like Gojira, their hard drive just went and they lost all that music for the Sea Shepherd EP.
Really?
Yeah, apparently they were able to like salvage some of the files, like the songs on it, but not that many, which is a total shame because the two tracks the one track they released from it was so good. Of Blood and Salt, check it out, guys.
I will. I'm gonna.
Yeah, that is. I don't know what like. I thank God. Like I had a hard drive fail and like nothing really important got lost. But I can't imagine. It's like just losing music. Like I just like
get this right. We recorded pretty much the whole album ourselves. It was mixed and mastered by someone else, but we recorded it all ourselves, and it was all held on Eric's computer, which is on like infamously like you ask any band who is recorded with Eric, they will tell you how shit his computer is. Like it literally blue screens like every half an hour. Luckily he's got a Mac now, so he's good, but like at the time we were like, shit, is this computer gonna make it? Like what if like the computer just fucking, I don't know, fucks up and we lose
$50 external hard drive. Never take that chance again. They're so cheap now. Please.
That's what I'm trying to figure right now. Like with everything is saved on my back. Well, it was my backup, but now it's kind of like my main external drive, 4 terabytes right there. And I keep like, I'm gonna wait till there's a deal on it. And then part of me is like, what happens if it goes? I lose everything. Everything.
Oh yeah. It's gone. They're so cheap now. Like it's like thankfully like technology's gotten so good that like the really good stuff's really good, still expensive, but like those like 10 terabyte just like it's $100 where it's like back in the day it was like that's $500. You're like, no, I'm not buying that. It's insane. To save stuff on, I don't even make anything. Why would I buy?
Yeah, right. Well, now with this podcast, every time I save a file, it's like a couple gigs. It just keeps adding up, you know? And we're on episode 7 right now, or 8. I'm losing track, too, of the episodes of the podcast so far. Quarantine, you know, we just keep pumping them out.
We have 3 episode 5s, so we'll check them out.
So how long have you been doing the podcast then?
Well, I've been doing a radio show since 2014, and then since COVID started, I was like, let's do a podcast, because my boy Jesse over here, he's like a podcast king right here, you know? So I was like, we got to do this right now. So, we just kicked it off. So I still do my radio show, and now I do the podcast for portion of it as well.
Sick.
Yeah, and it's also like, you know, you get like the radio is really good, but like the benefit of podcasts is like you said, like, you know, you get to curse a little bit. Yes. You get video, so you get a little bit more, you know, sadly it's like video, there's always going to be that slight delay. It's not like we're in the same room, but you do get, you know, to see people's faces. Yeah. That's
a big thing with like podcasts for me. Like I could listen to like really intelligent people speak and feel like I'm part of the conversation, if that makes sense. So I'll be like, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like Joe Rogan, like the amount of like crazy people he has on his podcast, and it's almost like he's just a fly on the wall in that like really interesting conversation. So yeah, man, I love podcasts, man.
Well, that's like the thing is like, because I talk about it because somebody like I remember when I started listening to podcasts like years ago, like 2013 probably. Like everyone was making fun. He's like, "Why are you saying this stuff from the podcast?" Like, well, like you said, you're a part of the conversation. You just can't say anything. So it's like hanging out with your friends. You're listening to hours on end, and you like adopt. If I hung out with you, even if we just met, if I hung out with you for 5 hours, I guarantee one of us would say something that the other would just end up saying.
Yeah,
you're just like I never heard that in my like. Oh yeah, Kadeem said that. I was like, yeah, just like you figure it out. Every friend group, even if I meet them for an hour, you just like always adopt. Someone says something, you're like, yeah,
like pal.
Like it's yeah, pal. Like I my friend said that. I call everyone pal.
Everyone's pal now. And now some people in our friends will call pal.
In Liverpool, we say lad or la a lot. Like, you're right, lad, or you're right, la. And like a lot of our friends from outside the city, they hang with us for like a week or two, and they go back to their other friends. They're like, why are you speaking like that? Or like, why are you saying lad? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? It's just a natural thing.
I want to call people lad now too.
I might just do it because I don't know. Like I just use the casual ones, dude, bro, and I get sick of them. I'm just like, I'm kind of over it.
I think I've been using mate a lot recently. I've been using mate. I think it's or I brother from Lost. You know Desmond. Have you watched the show Lost?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. There's a guy Desmond. He's Scottish, and he goes, "I brother," like constantly. So I usually say that.
Fairs.
Dude, how many Hulk Hogan comments guys like, wait, you Hulk Hogan? I'm like, what's up, brother? And they're like Hulk Hogan. I'm like, no, it's not from him. You could just say it. It's, we just like, brings us closer. We're friends, It's like, oh, you're relating, It's like, no.
Yeah.
It's like Hulk Hogan. You just get wrecked right out the gate. I'm like, all right, pal. I'm stick with pal or lad now. I'm using lad. Even when you make up shit, like I had a word I made up, chuzz. Literally, my friends are saying chuzz. Like, yo, what's up, chuzzers? I'm like, we don't even know what it means. We just making up the definition. It's fluid. It just happened. It could mean a bad thing or a good thing. It's like, dude, I was hanging out with this guy. He was totally chuzzing out. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? And like, I just get it. I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude. And then sometimes like, oh, I was chuzzing out. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. No, I was chuzzing. Oh, dude, good for you, bro. It's like, what? Bullshit looking word.
Well, going back to the album, I noticed that you guys produced it yourselves. You didn't have a producer in studio?
No, which was amazing and terrible at the same time. Like, when you're like, we really like, we spent a month in a cottage in the middle of Wales, which was like, the nearest shop was like a 40-minute walk away. So like it was literally just us there for like a month straight trying to work on the record. Obviously prior to that we'd stayed over at Faisal's house. We stayed there for like a month, and then for the second month we were in the cottage in Wales. But like, yeah, we really kind of drove ourselves crazy, but in a way it was kind of like the best type of crazy. But the only thing I just wish we would have had, when you have a producer, he's like he's not part of the band, so he's the outsider's. You've got an outsider's opinion,
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel like that's something I wish we would have had. But at the same time, we've learned a lot from not having that. And yeah, no, it was a struggle, but it was the pressure that made the diamond. That's what I always say.
That's cool, because a lot of bands, like, sometimes they need that third-party opinion, someone outside the band. They kind of need someone to be like, dude, you got to change this. Like, we were actually talking to Nick Lee of Moontooth, and he wrote this, like, it's kind of like guitar solo, right? And then he had Mark Morton of Lamb of God produce the record, and he's like, nah, you got to change it up. You got to make it a little more prog. And he's just like, fuck, And then he, and actually that made it better for him, He was like, oh shit, I actually came up with these even cooler lick where before I would have just been satisfied with what I played. So it's interesting what bands have. And then I feel like the more seasoned bands, they're like, we don't need someone in here. Like, look at Metallica, they don't have a producer anymore. It's bands like that. They're like, nah, we don't need that third opinion outside.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, though, similar story to that, we did have one or two opinions that did sway a lot of the creative process when it came to the album. We one time, do you know the band Issues? They were touring in the UK. We went. I think it was just me and Eric, and I think like two other friends. We went to the show. After the show, we were chilling out with them on their bus, and this is like midway through the process of the album. So like we've got just shitloads of demos on our Dropbox and that, and we get on the bus and we're like, yo, let me show you some tunes or whatever. We show Skylar and a few others from the band some of the songs, and they're bopping their head and stuff. They're enjoying it and that, and then gets to the end, so we're like, yo, what did you think? And they're like, yeah, really dig it, but it just hasn't got that oomph yet, we can really tell it's not finished yet. And that literally sent me and Eric under, like, heavily. So we were like, fuck it. Like, you're like, yo, we're going back to your house and we are writing the filthiest track ever. And that night, Gored was written from that night. Yeah.
That is filthy.
Nice.
Oh man, what a track! That makes sense.
That's what I mean. It can really take. Not to say the lyrics are about issues, but like it can really take an outsider's opinion just to say one little thing that can really just inspire you to create. Like we had no idea we had that track in us, but we got it out there.
Would you say that's probably like one of your favorites now off the track, the album?
Ooh, I don't know. My favorite changes like every time I listen to the album, like. With the progress, like as the album was being written, it was kind of like every song that got finished became my new favorite song on the album. And then when we finished the album and I listened to it like throughout, I couldn't pick. I was just like, this whole thing is. I wish it was just one big audio file.
That's a great problem to have, though.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I forgot what band said it, but I remember I saw them live and they played the whole album through, and it was like man, sorry, this album's front heavy. Anyways, the next song's coming up. I was like, that's a way to sell it. I was like, great. So we got 4. Like, I know the album. I was like, it's not. It's like, I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, it's definitely not. Actually, if anything, I feel like this album is back heavy. Like, I realized, like, I listened to it over and over again, and I suck with names now because of Spotify, Deezer, all these. Like, I just hit play and I let it go.
I'm the same.
And I was like, this album's banger. And then I just started realizing all the songs I knew, like the ones I reacted to. And I was like, what the hell? And then the album ended. I'm like, are these all at the end? I was like, you guys went the opposite approach. Like, all, like, technically the deep cuts are all bangers out the. I was like, and then the front album, I'm like, because also I feel like the album starts off heavier, and it kind of almost like goes down, and then it hits Heavy as the Head, which is just like a sprint out the gate. I'm like, what the hell? And then it ends with the title, I think, or was another track, and then the title track is the ending. And I was kind of like, was that like a purposeful move to make it like a peak and a valley, like just like very wavy into the album?
Most definitely. Like, that's something we really take pride in. We always want our albums to be a journey. We want it to feel like a journey. If it's just heavy, then it gets a bit like too much, a bit overwhelming. So we just like to have like heavy, drop you off in this little like atmospheric interlude or whatever, have a breather, come back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We'd like it to be a journey, not just one thing, if that makes sense. I'm really bad to put me words together today for some reason.
It makes perfect sense.
It does,
because it's also like, it's just also that's my biggest problem with band, like certain heavy bands. I'm not gonna name names, but like there's like, especially if you're a heavy band, like you guys have more dynamics, obviously. You know, you got like your like interludes, you got your clean vocals, you got these weird like dark interludes, heavy parts, you got your like kind of like, you just have everything. Like, not like almost like being like that cliche movie review. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, you'll get angry some parts. Like, it's just like, but there's some bands that like their whole thing is being heavy, and they'll hit the breakdown at the beginning, and then it'll kind of just peak and it just kind of sit there. And then I feel like I skip the song, like after like a minute, where I'm like, I got what I wanted. Like, the song's not bad, while you guys, play it through. I listen to it through because it's what I love in music. It's peaks and valleys. I love clean singing. I love brutal breakdowns. I want both. Like, you know, if you got both of them, it's selling it. And you guys really show that on the album, where it's like.
Thank you, man.
Now,
I really appreciate that, honestly.
Before joining this podcast, did you know that we were going to shower you with all this praise and love?
Yeah, it's hard.
I didn't, man. I'm overwhelmed. I love it, though. I love it. It really, like, that's a thing, like, hearing you guys say all of this, like, before we released the album, like, when you're sitting on music for that long, and especially with the second album, like, you could just get trapped in your own thoughts. And like, there was a moment when we first wrote everything, we were like, this is incredible, love the music so far. And then you kind of like, as time goes on, you slowly be like, oh my God, should I even be doing music? Is this right? Like, oh my. And then when we released Two-Way Mirror as the first single, like a day or two before that, I was literally bricking it. I was like, there's no way. Like, what are people going to think? We've never done a song like this before. And then as soon as people started appreciating it, like, it reconfirmed everything we were thinking from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I actually, like, I bought, what do you call it? Was it a Cold Sun? I'm bad with names. I bought it with the record. And I listened to it through. I made sure to like listen to it before the podcast. And like, it is different, but I see the seeds of what you guys did on this record. Like, it's more like, it's like faster. And it's like consistently fast. Like, it's not like, you know, it's like consistently one, and then there's those little interludes and you see those soundscapes you guys are creating. Like I guess you guys, like, who does the synths in the band or makes those like kind of
and that's all Eric.
Okay.
Eric is like the main guy when it comes to just like feel and vibe or atmospheric parts of the band. Like, he's a very like, he'll see a movie scene or like a part in a movie or whatever, like he'll show me it and he'll be like, yo, I want to encompass this feeling through sound on this song, and I'll be like, yo, let's do it.
I was reading, I think it was on Wikipedia or something, it said that Silent Hill 2, the soundtrack, was very like important to you guys, influenced you a lot.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I want to ask is like, are there any other soundtracks or scores from movies that actually influenced the music?
I'll probably say Twin Peaks. Eric's a really big fan of Twin Peaks. The Warriors, really big influence.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah, the movie. Just like all them weird like synth noises and shit, you know?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah, you could even say Stranger Things. Like anything in that kind of like light.
Yeah.
What else?
You must love John Carpenter then, right?
John Carpenter.
Oh, you don't like horror movies? He did like Halloween, The Thing. He's
okay.
like the king of that synthy horror movie, like all those 80s like horror movies. He was like all the like if you good, check it out. Let me know.
Oh, you educate me. I'll get onto it definitely.
Because it's like he made the movies. Like sometimes the movies are all right, like The Fog. The movie's all right, but when you hear some of those sounds he adds in, you're like, I'm actually kind of scared. Like the graphics, the way it looks all shitty, but you're like, fuck, is that thing gonna come out of the TV? Like you just like get your hair all.
And it's things like that. Like another movie, Sinister. That film alone, like without the music and everything, it wouldn't be that scary. But the soundtrack to that film is so terrifying. Like I remember when we shot our first ever music video, for a track called In Death, when we were doing like the performance, not the performance shots we were playing, but just like shots of us standing there like doing different like poses or whatever. We had like Silent Hill soundtrack playing, like Sinister soundtrack playing, like just to get us in the vibe, and it proper like created a mood there and then type thing. Like,
do you ever open your sets with that?
That would be sick. We actually we've only ever, in terms of like soundtrack stuff, we've only ever opened our set with I think it's a song from Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't remember what it's called, but it's yeah, we used to open with that, and then it went straight into Gored. It was it was so sick.
That's awesome. Well, that was like actually weirdly Sinister. Actually, kind of like it's like a rough. It's like kind of what like those films in it is like it starts off beautiful, and then when it goes to the horror part, it's kind of what your band's about. It's like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
then it goes right, and you're like, Jesus Christ!
Did you say you guys are like movie buffs too?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I couldn't sit there and like tell you like, oh, these are my top 10 directors or whatever. But like, I can sit there and binge watch like films for days. Like, Eric's the type of guy you want to chat to when it comes to all of that stuff. Like, he's really on it with his directors and all of that.
Nice.
But
yeah, we all have that one friend that's really into like directors and producers, like that kind of thing. And I'm just like, oh, I never heard of that guy before. And he's like, he's done this, that, and this. Like, I think I know Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
It's
like, fool, you don't know that guy? He's the reason they got those bunny ears on that one character. He got the money. It's like, all right, what? It's like, I like the movie. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know Code Orange?
Yeah.
Because they started doing that. The guitarist was the guitarist, obviously, and then he bought like this crazy synth, weird sound effect rig. I don't even know what it's called. It's like way past the level of my understanding. But you could hear it in their band when he got into it, and like it was just sprinkled in. So I wanted to ask you, did he like buy it or any of that stuff like during the Cold Sun? Because it sounded like he was trying it out because there wasn't a lot of it in the album. And then this album, he's like, oh, now I got practice. Like, here we go.
No, that's literally what it is, man. It's literally just progression. Like, he's always been about it and always been on it with him. Like, even with a lot of the bands that he's worked with and produced, will go to him because they'll know they'll get that atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, there's bands like God Complex, Lotus Eater. They're two really big bands who like have a lot of. Obviously, they have their own sound, but they have a lot of Eric's influence behind that, and it kind of makes their music what it is, type of thing. Well, for me anyway, personally. But yet, like, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Dude, that happens to a lot of us on this show. Actually, I feel like there's many times where I'm like Jesse and stuff like that.
Well, literally, was it 2 interviews ago? The guy was talking for 3 minutes, and then he just went, "I forgot the question." He's like, I don't even know where I went with this. That was
a lot of fun.
Always.
Well, we could break into our next segment. If you remember, just feel free to jump in. But our next segment is called the 3 Random Silly Questions segment. And I mean, we gotten so many good responses now. I mean, are you ready to live up to this?
Oh, damn. That's a lot of pressure
on it.
Throwing all the pressure
let's do it. I'm a killer.
Okay. Question number 1. Best tour prank you witnessed or been a part of?
Ooh, best tour prank.
Too many?
Damn. We're not much of a pranky band, you know.
There you go. That's the way to be.
Because I've had this question before, and it's always been like, yeah, we've never really played any pranks on anyone, or had like whenever we've went on tour with people, we're like overly conscious about making a bad impression. So
Yeah,
we just kind of like, yeah.
What about other bands? Have you seen other bands do pranks?
Nah, not really. Not really, no. Like, honestly, I'll be honest, that's something I used to, like, before I was in a band and stuff, and I used to watch interviews, I used to always, like, listen to them questions, like, oh, you know, this one time, I don't know, a band, like, hid our guitar somewhere 10 minutes before the set, or but, like, I've never witnessed that myself, like, ever,
okay.
So.
Okay.
But the shaving slap, I remember I saw a video where some, like, guy just wailed his guitarist in the face. I was like, oh my God. That's like hilarious. So I was like, man, do you really want to break this band up right now? It's like, I don't know how many times I could get slapped full grown by a full grown man in the face with like just
wait, there is one story.
Oh, let's hear it.
But it's not really that exciting.
All right.
It was on like our first ever UK tour. I don't even think it was. We were called R and Balance at the time, so this is a long time ago. And yeah, we were driving, I think, through like the countryside of Scotland. Late night, must have been like 1 a.m. Everyone needed, I think like 2-3 people needed the toilet in the back. So we were like, yo, let's pull over somewhere, go to the toilet. Bear in mind, it is pitch black outside. Like, so we pull up, go to the side. Me and 2 others hop out, go to the toilet. As soon as we hop out, the door slams and the van takes off. And like, obviously, this is our first tour in it, and I'm like, haha, that's funny. But then when I realize how far they are and how dark it is where I am, I start freaking out. So then I'm like in between, should I piss or should I chase the van? So I piss real quick and then start chasing the van. They eventually come back, and I'm like hyperventilating, freaking out. That's about it, really. That's all I can really think
it ended up being a mistake, or were they actually pranking you?
No, they were pranking us. It was a joke. Like they drove off there with like to scare us, but it was just like for.
I interviewed Hammerfall, and the guitarist was telling me a story about how they actually forgot one of the members of the band, and
shit!
Yeah, they were like
that happened to us actually.
Oh really? Tell us about that.
Yeah, bro, we were in China. Like we last year we did a Asia tour. We did Japan and China.
Oh, nice.
And when we landed at China, we were doing a few shows at a band called Crystal Lake.
Oh,
so
hot fire.
We landed, met up with Crystal Lake and everything. Everyone's kind of chilling in the little lobby bit before you get on a coach to take you to the hotel. So everyone's like segregated by the lobby. We're all chilling or whatever. And then whoever's taking care of us comes forward and she's like, okay, here's our coach. We're all going to jump on this coach. It's going to take us to the hotel. We're like, sweet, let's go. I'm ready. Get my backpack and everything. Get my bags. We jump on this coach. Gets about like 15, 20 minutes onto the journey. We're on the motorway, by the way. Like we're so far from the airport. Bear in mind, because we're in China, we have no service or anything. We can't call everyone. And 20 minutes into the ride, everyone's like, hang on, does anyone know where Faisal is? Oh. I'm like, nah, I thought he was a Jew. And I'm like, nah, no, what? And then everyone starts freaking out, like, shit, we've left Faisal at the airport. So like, it took us like an hour-ish to get back. Oh no, that was it. Yeah, no, we were contemplating going back, but then we ended up having to like get another coach to go pick up Faisal on his own and bring him to the hotel. But yeah.
Oh my, was he pissed?
Just like being in China and like, he was. Faisal's the type of guy to like laugh off situations like that. He kind of he thrives in like mad situations like that, so he wasn't too bothered. If it was Eric, it would have been a different story. He'd be freaking the fuck.
I always wondered. I heard those stories. And I never understood. I was like, how could you forget an entire human being?
Yeah.
And then we went to a concert and we forgot a whole human being. We were on this like weird minibus back out of the city, and we're just like, where'd Ronu go? Like, where'd that guy go? Like, we're just, oh no, he's gone. Like, and it was like the end of the night. There's no way to get him. We're like, I was like, I kind of want to go home. I gotta leave him be. Do you guys got him? Like, I was just like, oh my god. I was like, I never understood that. But yeah, in a China, I would lose my mind a little bit. I'd be like, I got like I got tinnitus. I got ringing in my ears. I could barely understand what people say most of the time. Yeah. I'm bad with languages. I'm just screwed. I cannot figure my way out of here. I'll be like, Like, how do we do this?
I mean, we couldn't even phone him. We could not ring. Like, jeez.
Oh,
That's
man.
fucked, man.
Jeez. Well,
But hey.
Yeah, we made it home. We all made it home. We're all home.
Well, let's go to question number 2 right now. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve?
Yeah, what gets under your skin?
Being woke up by anyone. Like,
I feel like on tour you can't sleep or you get woken up all the time.
I don't really tend to sleep much on tour unless we're settled. And I'll be honest, there are a lot of I say arguments, but I get mad a lot at people like say we're all staying in one living room, and I'm like, oh no, getting up early on tour, that pisses me the fuck off. Like, obviously get up early and like make the most of your day and shit, but like say we were driving to where we were about to stay and we were up until like 3-4 in the morning. Don't get up at 10 and start playing music. Like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like, that shit pisses me off. I'm trying to think of some others. Getting my socks wet.
Oh, dude.
Like, you know, when you're like,
1,000%.
When you have a hole in your shoe
and
you didn't realize and you stepped in like a puddle or something, I get so angry. All day you have to like walk around with that or something, or you're at work and you can't change. Oh my god.
It's mushy. Ew. You just step right like, ew.
And then like usually your feet or shoes smell afterwards and you're like, god damn it. Oh, I hate that feeling.
Shit.
Was like I would be the worst then. Good thing I'm not in the band because for some reason I'm not a morning person, but for some reason I'm around a lot of people, I wake up just early.
Well, we were up till
3 in the morning. I wake up at 7. I'll be like, hey, does anyone want to talk? Like, I'm a talkative person. I'm like, anybody? And I just sit there comfortably because I don't want to be a dick, and I just wait for a movement, like an arm. I'm like, yo, Chris, you awake? You guys want to talk or something? I'm alone. I can't make any sound. I don't have my headphones or anything.
Oh man. There's one more as well. Do you know when you crack an egg?
Yeah.
And the yolk, like, you mess up the yolk and it goes everywhere. That pisses me off so much. Like, I'll genuinely wake up early in the morning. If both the eggs fuck up, I'm like, fuck this day. This day, fuck it. It's a write-off.
Reset. Yeah, no, I think that egg would end up on the wall if that happened. I'd be like, two whole eggs?
Yeah, I hate when the shells get all in the pan and you have to pick out the shell.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah.
I've got really good at getting the shell out of eggs, though. It's
really? What's your trick?
A new skill of mine. Like, I just get like a knife and I'll like flick it up real quick. And I've even gotten that good to the point where I can like flick the shell off the knife into the bin.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right, I gotta practice that.
Way better. Yeah, I just curse. I just hit it hard enough, and I'm just like, thank God I have baby hands, baby soft skin. Just end up in the pan. Don't break, please.
All right, third question for you, the random silly question segment. What's your go-to angry song? When you just want to listen to something when you're pissed off, what do you go to?
Ooh, I'm gonna get up Spotify up right now.
Your own music.
Destroy Everything by Hatebreed. That's a rip the wall down song.
Ooh, you know, have you ever heard of a band called Justice for the Damned?
No.
Oh, I don't think so. Actually, no.
Yo, they've got a song called No Brother, No Friend. I'm going to type it into this chat right now.
I'm checking it out.
Just so, like, after this, you need to check them out.
Oh, 100%.
The breakdown at the end of this song is unreal. Like,
man,
probably one of the heaviest breakdowns I've ever heard. Like, what else? I'm trying to think of other tracks. Anything by Meshuggah, any Meshuggah song.
Meshuggah almost ruined our Christmas party. I put New Millennium Cyanide Christ on, and I just started moshing alone in the living room, and everyone was drunk enough, they all ran in with me. I got thrown into a 24-pack of Budweiser. I need like 3 bottles of. I was like, oh my God.
Oh, shit. That was a crazy night.
I was like, no one. It's like, you guys Meshuggah virgins in here. Everyone just like lost their mind. Like, I'm so angry. Let's go. What's this feeling?
And I'm over there like, my basement, my floor.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, oh my God, I forgot what else happened. I think I got thrown into a wall. I was like, why am I getting beat up? Like, I was just like, what is happening?
The biggest guy in the room.
I was like, yeah, just the target. Well, I learned that. I don't know. Are you in mosh retirement, Kadeem? When you go to a show, do you start in the back, or do you need a certain song to get you into? Are you in the pit immediately?
I say I'm in mosh retirement, but there are a few bands that have got me out of it recently. When I seen Varials for the first time,
Ooh,
I
nasty.
couldn't help but mosh. Who else? Knocked Loose. I saw them. When I saw them, I had to. Who else? Fuck. There's another band. There's a band called MTXS.
Oh.
They're from the UK. They're good friends of ours. Anytime I see them live, always mosh. And then another band called God Complex.
Okay.
Incredible band. So heavy. They're like they're another kind of like local band in
awesome.
in our area type thing. Yeah.
There's nothing better than maybe it's because I just gotten out of shape. I'm not old. So it's like, but I'm just like, nah. But then there's always this song. I think I got too many of them. I'm almost not in mosh retirement probably, but I remember there's just throughout all the genres. But you know August Burns Red, right?
Yeah.
One song, Whitewashed. I don't know why.
Oh, shit.
But I just want to mosh. And I was at this festival, and I was eating this thing called crab fries. And literally at the back of the crowd, watched their whole set, and I was with a friend. And then I just heard the wee, like that whitewash song. I was like, hold my fries. And I just, just over the top. I was like, it's over. I was like, literally, I never handed food. I was like, I'll be back. There's work to be done. I can't just sit idly by while there's music that has to be moshed to.
I feel like another band for Jesse, like when you I'm not gonna mosh tonight. Like I feel like after the barrel and kill switch, you always just get in the pit. You're like, all right, I'm taking off my shirt. I'm gonna get in that pit.
It's over. Maybe because I don't want to get punched in the face enough. There's some heavy bands I'm just like, man, going to work with a black guy, I just don't need that in my life right now. But yeah, like Knock Loose, like you said, is it it's not no what is it? The song with Keith Buckley in it off their new album?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh my god. Like what is it? Do you know it? Did you listen to a new album?
Honestly, I haven't really listened to it that much, I'm not gonna lie. I've there's I think
Forget Your Name.
Mistakes Like Fractures.
Oh, that's it.
Is the only tune I've probably listened to.
Oh, if you want one added to the book, Forget Your Name. Do you know Every Time I Die?
Yeah.
Well, Keith Buckley does the end part, and just them together at that end breakdown. I was like, I'm pretty calm, cool, and collected. I'll listen to deathcore at 5 a.m, just sit there, just hang out. But I remember I was walking from work to do something. I played that song. I just wanted to rip a bus apart. Like I was just walking by a bus. I just wanted to rip windows. I was like, what is this energy? I've never felt it before in my life. Like this negative energy. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. But
that was the random silly question segment. I hope you had fun with that. I know I hyped it up a lot.
No, it was fun. It was fun.
Here we go. Okay, so yeah, before we let you go, is there anything else that you want to mention to us? Talk about Loathe. What can we expect for Loathe? Is there any upcoming projects you have going? Is there like a live stream performance or anything like that? Or maybe drop some of those hidden tracks?
Well,
selfishly.
As of now, honestly, the only thing that we're really doing is just writing new music and just I don't know. It's only little things like showing each other what outfits we're gonna get for like live shows and shit. Like it's all the little details that make the big picture, just little things like that. But yeah, that's it really. We had a lot planned for this year, but obviously, lockdown, we can't. We had a lot of cool tours, but next year will be the one for sure. Next year will be the one.
Dude, every band is because a lot of bands are writing right now, so there's gonna be so many new albums in the next year or two.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be so many tours because all the bands that couldn't tour now are gonna tour then. And the bands that had tours planned, they're still it's gonna be a crazy time, I gotta say.
There's gonna be tons of new babies, new divorces, and new albums. All three coming out. Just kind of fucking fighting in music. Let's go.
2021 and 2022, they're gonna be crazy years.
It's gonna be awesome. Sure. What? Yeah, because I guess the reason we're getting interviews, right, is people are trying to support their album. And I always wondered, I feel so bad, like you just dropped your album. It's like, writing's probably not difficult for a band, but it's I always worried. I'm like, oh, that sucks. You just got a new album out. It's now we got to write another one. There's nothing else to do. It's
yeah.
It's almost like a break.
I'm really glad that because we got to do our UK headline tour before all this happened.
Nice.
So like the fact that we were able to actually release the album and tour it, like I'm so grateful for that, because I know there's a lot of bands, Code Orange being one of them, who released an album and haven't been able to do the proper touring cycle, which sucks. But
yeah, I was gonna travel like 3 hours. I was like, you know what? And luckily, I don't need to spend more money, but I was like, I'll spend it. And then literally a pandemic happened. It's like, all right, maybe that's God telling me, don't spend that $35 and travel 3 hours. Like, it's like, you don't need to. I was like, I need to.
Yeah, all the way out in Pittsburgh over here. But I mean, every time I die was playing with them, so it makes it even better.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, well, I'm glad you got it out of the way. But yeah, I will say selfishly, I can't wait till you guys come to. Did you guys have U.S. tours planned?
I can't say anything, man.
Dude,
there was a strong possibility. Very strong possibility.
Good. Well, next time you come, when everything is like normal again, whatever, we're stopping by.
Oh yeah, New Jersey, man.
Good.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, appreciate it, Kadeem.
Yeah, thank you for joining the show,
man. Thank you for having me, man.
And welcome back to the Metal Teddy Bear Experience Podcast. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Kadeem France of Loathe. He was so much fun to talk to. I just want to apologize for the video quality, Skype, internet connection, and sometimes doing it with another continent is pretty tough, you know? So it is what it is. But at least the audio came out pretty well, and you guys can enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
And you really don't need to see my face or Jesse's face, right?
Yeah, just hopefully you saw his face, and we'll hurt him. So, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then also, well, that is a something too. If it is bad video quality, we actually do have our podcast everywhere podcasts are. Like you listen to Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, the other three that no one knows.
Castbox. Yeah,
Cast.
Dude, it was funny. I
rock the Castbox. Rock the.
Have you ever heard of Castbox? I did not know until I talked to Sandy. He's like, yeah, I only listen on Castbox. I'm like, okay, I'll get it on there. Yeah. And actually, we're now on iHeartRadio too. Yeah, we're on iHeartRadio now too, so that's cool. So
there we go.
All the big ones. I guess the next big one would be Pandora, I guess. But yeah, if we're growing, that's good. So
if we want to get as big as Trap, then we have to get on Pandora.
That guy's crazy. But yeah, Jesse, how'd you feel getting a nice little shout out from him for your reaction video?
Oh yeah, I think that happened before, sadly, but that we recorded. But it was awesome. It's just yeah. Why does it keep happening? Yeah, it was awesome. It was nice to know. Also, nice to know that I do like. It's nice to know. No, so stupid. But at the end of my reactions, I guess I do almost like a reaction review because I talk a little bit about the song at the end, and it's nice to know that he enjoyed my ideas of what the music was. You know, I'm not a professional musician. I listen to a lot of metal. I've listened to a lot of metal and other music for years, and I play drums here and there. I try to learn guitar before I throw it into the wall. But you know. I feel like I understand it, especially metal music. And when you hear music like Loathe, which to me, I already talked to you about it in private, Loathe and Code Orange, those two albums right now, I feel bad because Lamb of God and Killswitch are my number ones. They're tied. They're number ones. And it hurts me to say, but when Lamb of God comes out, I'm like, oh, man, they better be hiding some bangers.
What about those Killswitch B-sides? Well,
those were amazing. They were amazing. I don't count that as another album. I'm happy they released it, though.
It's still an EP, 5 songs, right? 6 songs?
Yeah, it's 6 songs. It's 6 songs. They were good. But, yeah, there's something different. I know you hate the word groundbreaking. I don't think it's like whatever they did. They took all their influences. You can hear the influences, and they took them and made their own thing. And just the impact. Like, you know, now that he's not here, I guess we can, compliment him more without him getting, just overwhelming people.
Showering
we're not worthy. We're not just be this.
I should just
freaking nerds.
I should just edit a heart around him when we start talking.
It's like, what are these guys? These guys start a podcast just to talk to me? It's like maybe. No, it's not. No, it's so stupid. But it's just when you hear I know I've been using a lot of these words on my reaction videos, but soundscapes and just the way they play with space. Because music, though it's waves, it's sound waves, it takes up space. You did audio recording, you physically see the waves when they're recorded. When there's too much waves, the music gets muddy. When you have everything going nuts at once, even if everyone sounds amazing and you record them all at once, they sound shitty because they all take up space and you can't hear anything cool. And the way that they play with and how chaotic their music is and how busy and also not busy at the same time, where they go from those synths to the heavy parts to the clean singing, and like they just constantly have really good rhythm with each other. Where if he's singing, it's those heavy riffs are not drowning him out. When he's screaming, it adds the perfect amount of chaos over the top with the guitars, because those guitars are super, super heavy. And I'm blown away. As not a guitarist, I have no idea how to get that kind of tone with the bass in them too, because it's just, I guess, because everyone says they use like detuned jazz masters, basically. Like,
I don't know, but you hear so many bands talk about how hard it is to find tone, like the tone or the sound. Like they go through so many heads, they go through so many amps. Like even now, like I know, like fractals and pods and stuff like that. You really don't have to have that many amp heads and whatnot. But like, yeah, that's always like a struggle for a band to find that right tone, you know.
And it's amazing, and I appreciate it. Like I try to appreciate it, because it's like you understand why certain music, though you like it, you're like wondering, why is this song hitting me the way it is? Like, why is it when I heard Down the Rabbit or the Rabbit Hole by freaking Code Orange, why I wanted to just throw the world out of the goddamn galaxy? Yeah, I was like, wow, I want to fight the entire world at once. I don't know how to fight. I would get eliminated. But yeah, I was like, I got to do this. And then like then you're like, because you have friends who like who are all about like technical music. It's like, yeah, I love technical music too. You know me. I show you these prog bands where you're like, yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, it's like cool. But then like you have bands like Hatebreed. They come in with Destroy Everything. It's about as simple as you get. And I still love it because, yeah, and it works. It all works. It's all about that rhythm and how to trade off, like, not like the center stage, not showing off, but it's like, if everyone shows off at once, then it's like if everyone was really good at something, everyone would be normal. Because if everyone's good, there's no one sticking out. It's the same thing. You got to take a step back in music. You can't be the crazy drummer while having crazy guitar, because that's like, who am I paying attention to? It's like too much almost.
That's like my problem.
Except for Dillinger. Dillinger is the only one that was able to do that somehow. But whatever. But besides them.
Usually when I listen to music and I hear all this stuff going on, I'm like, how do they figure out what worked at what time? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so much going on. I'm like, that's why I'm never going to be a musician. That's why I'm never going to be in like a band like that. So I just can't grasp it. I can't figure out, like, I don't know. But I can enjoy it, but that's it.
Yeah, well, I've been watching a lot of that. His name is Dean. He's a part of the band Arcspire.
Oh,
you know him?
Yeah. Oh.
Dean Arcspire. Yeah, like check him out. He's got really cool guitar videos. But like, it's weird. But when you watch bands like technical death metal bands, where it's like everything's going so fast and so technical, I always like, it's just, you got to appreciate it. Because even in that, where everyone's busy, they still figure out the ratio of who's like doing what. And like, where it's like the drums are like a constant noise while the guitar does it. And then the guitars do like a standard riff while the drum starts doing crazy fills. They figure it out.
Figured it out.
Figured it.
Well,
but
hope you guys enjoyed this show. Jesse, where can people find your nice little Insid reaction videos?
Yeah, my nice little, little fun stuff. That'd be youtube.com/c/ or is it backslash or / I feel like I should say that, right?
You can. I'm gonna have it on
whatever
the thing below right here.
Doesn't matter. /c/Insid1. Ugh. Oh my god. And then what's it called? YouTube and Twitch are just Insid. That's my channel names. Instagram and Twitter, Insid Stream. And come hang out. Check it out. I take reaction requests. I just got my interface. I actually got to talk to you after this is over. I got to figure out how to I got to figure some stuff out. But yeah, I'm on the way doing some drum stuff, drum videos, drum streams, whatever, more stuff. But that's where you can find me in this pretty face.
Hell yeah, guys. And remember, if you guys like the content we're putting out, I also do a radio show Tuesday nights, 7 to 10 on 90.3 WMSC Radio. Yeah, I play new tunes.
Upper
Montclair. And I also do some interviews on there as well, so check it out. It's all going to be on my YouTube channel, MTB Experience, Metal Teddy Bear Experience. So thank you guys for listening, and until next time, my friends, peace.